getting ready to tee it up here in Mexico City as the crowd continues to file in. The only guy now who leaves our country to eat at Taco Bell. Denny. Hola, amigo.
Nice to see you, Al. You know, I've been married to the same woman for 34 years. Not a perfect man. I've made some mistakes. And so have the people running the draft room with the Dallas Cowboys. The 95, 96, and 97 draft should be the core of this present team. Only one player remains, Dexter Coakley. This year's draft is entirely predicated on the success of young Quincy Carter. And most draftniks had him as a 5th or 4th round pick. Jerry Jones liked him in the 2nd and took him. I hope it works out. We met him yesterday. He's a great kid. But the simple fact is, he came out of college after 3 years, and he might not have started at the University of Georgia this year, much less the Dallas Cowboys. We wish him well. Andale, andale!
Andale is what Emmitt Smith's liable to be saying by week 2 to his offensive line as he tries to yardage through the middle. Eric Dickerson, the young quarterback, Quincy Carter, what effect will that have on Emmitt Smith this season?
Well, Al, Emmitt Smith will see a lot of 8-man fronts. This is something that he is accustomed to. But right now, with Quincy Carter at quarterback, the defenses will stack the line of scrimmage. They had Troy Aikman before. They did not stack the line of scrimmage. One thing that Emmitt Smith would have to get used to is being very patient in hitting those holes.
We'll see a little bit of Emmitt Smith tonight. We'll see a lot of Quincy Carter tonight. You'll be able to judge when you take a look at the Cowboy quarterback of the future. Oakland, Dallas from Mexico. The Oakland Raiders will receive, and Mike Ganora will kick off for the Dallas Cowboys. And back deep to receive is Terry Kirby, the much-traveled Terry Kirby, running back and run-back specialist, as we get set to get on here in Mexico City. Flashballs popping throughout Azteca Stadium, and at more than 7,000 feet, it's almost like Denver. In fact, it's much higher than Denver through the end zone. Rich Gannon will not play tonight. That was a decision made earlier today, and Bobby Hoying gets the start. Charlie Garner, last year with the Niners, and John Ritchie in the backfield. Brown and Rice, the Hall of Famers outside, and Roland Williams comes over from the Rams. Stinchcomb, Wisniewski, no stranger to the Pro Bowl, Robbins, Mo Collins, and Lincoln Kennedy on a veteran offensive line. And there is Rich Gannon. Nothing really wrong with him. If this were the regular season, he would play. And the official report says under the weather, but we're in Mexico City, so
Join the club.
Join the club, right. On first down on play action, Hoying going deep and struggled and dropped by Tim Brown. The Raiders have loved to do that for years, go deep on the first play. And that pass to the Cowboy side of the field as Gannon looks on from the sidelines, dropped by Brown.
You won't see Tim Brown drop many, but watch as he looks to the inside here off this great move on the outside. Ball thrown way too far to the inside where George Teague comes over, disturbs and distracts Brown for just an instant. And that's the result.
It's a shame because you'd love to get Hoying off. He needs a confidence lift.
2nd and 10. Hoying figures to be the number 2 quarterback on opening day. They also have the rookie Marcus Tuiasosopo. We'll see him. And that's Tyrone Wheatley stopped at the line of scrimmage. Take a look at the Cowboy defense, and they were shredded last year. Up front, they have Ellis, Noble, Michael Myers, and Ekuban. So the defensive line is pretty good. Hambrick, Dat Wynn in the middle, and Dexter Coakley was their only Pro Bowler from last season. In the secondary, Reese and Edwards are outside, and Darren Woodson and George Teague, the veteran safeties. Woodson, a lifelong Cowboy now in his 10th season. Randy Jordan's in the backfield on 3rd down and 10. As Hoying has to sidearm it and hits John Ritchie out in the flat, but well short of the first down. Izell Reese makes the tackle. So 3 and out for the Raiders on the opening.
Excellent start for the Cowboy defense. They're going to be a lot more conservative in their secondary this year because of all the inexperience in their secondary, especially the corners. Izell Reese, a former safety, playing corner now, comes over with that big hit.
Wayne McGarity back to receive. Shane Leckler is the punter. Good kick. McGarity eludes the first Raider and brings it back through the middle for a 12-yard run back up to the 33-yard line. Quincy Carter, and we'll tell you a lot about him through the course of the evening. Your first look at Carter, drafted in the second round, the great Emmitt Smith with Robert Thomas in the backfield. Hodge and McGarity will start outside, and Jackie Harris, the veteran tight end, up front. Adams, the left tackle. Larry Allen, one of the best maybe of all time at left guard. Stepnoski, the veteran center. Garman and Page. We will not see Rocket Ismail tonight, and we will not see, as Woodson is up, we will not see Joey Galloway tonight. Galloway with a groin and Ismail just getting the night off.
Well, they're both coming off ACL surgery last year, and this is a slippery field.
From the 33-yard line on first down, here's Carter. Buys time and then throws a wobbly pass, but it was on the money and it was dropped by McGarity. Not a thing of beauty, but it was in his hands.
Now McGarity gets it hung with a drop on this one. This ball should have been caught. It would have been a great confidence boost for Quincy Carter and the Cowboys. Extra time by rolling out, finds McGarity over the middle, and he just flat drops it because he let the ball come all the way into his chest, didn't reach out and catch it with his hands.
McGarity kind of the number 3 receiver by default this year. Hasn't really stepped up yet, but he's third in the order.
Nobody is right now. They've got Ismail and Galloway, and then there's a huge drop off for Dallas. 2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line. Flag thrown, first of the game. Flozell Adams with a false, possibly. The referee tonight is Jeff Triplett. John Gruden, 4th year in the league, but he's still only 38 years old, and he is still by more than a year the youngest coach in the National Football League. Marty Mornwig of Detroit would be next, and Dave Campo, the longtime assistant coach, defensive coordinator through the Johnson and Switzer and Gailey, and then he ascended to the top spot last year when Gailey was fired and Chan moved on to Miami as the offensive coordinator. On 2nd and 15, Carter throws, and that is caught by McGarity near the sideline, and it's 3rd down and 2, and on that play alone you can see the type of thing that Carter can do, escaping a would-be sack.
Well, Jerry Jones has been bringing up the fact that he might be similar to Dante Culpepper or Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia, but those were second-year guys when they took. Now, what's the difference between the first and the second year? Is it an incredible chasm?
It really is, and it's light years. There's no substitute for that experience that Carter's going to get. It's very unfair for him to be put in this position, but he's in the position. He's got to make the best of it.
3rd and 2, and Michael Wiley comes into the game. He's their 3rd down back, at least in preseason. He gets the ball, and they keep it on the ground, and he doesn't get the first down. So the Cowboys talking about playing a little bit more conservatively, a little less in the playbook. Flag down at the 38-yard line.
Illegal formation offense. 76 did not line up on the line of scrimmage. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Flozell Adams was off the line of scrimmage. Watch the penetration by Grady Jackson, number 90 there, as he beats Stepnoski and Wiley to cut inside where there are too many Raider tacklers.
Well, this league is survival of the fittest, and they're going to test Quincy with a lot of 8-man fronts this year. See if he can beat him with the pass. They know he's got legs, but they want to see if he can make the throws accurately.
I think for a first series, he did a good job. McGarity dropped the one pass, and then he completed that other one to set up that 3rd and short.
Quincy might see some 12-man fronts this year.
Here's Mike Ganor, left-footing one at altitude and backing David Dunn all the way back to the 2-yard line, and Dunn gambling by taking it at the 2. Normally you just let it go inside the 10, and he brings it back to the 15-yard line. Each team has had the ball once. Here in Mexico City we played 3-13. No score. Occasionally you have the NFL on Fox, and then you have Fox on the NFL. Nice to have that greeting from the president of Mexico.
He's charismatic, that guy, isn't he? Has a nice way about him. I've heard him speak before.
I think, in fact, he's going to the White House, a state dinner there. I think it's September 4th, and he's going to address a joint session of Congress, and that's not something that very many foreign leaders get to do. Vicente Fox. First down from the 15-yard line as Bobby Hoying, again with Gannon not feeling well tonight, at least the official line anyway. Hoying runs for about 6 up to the 20-yard line. Forced out by Coakley, who went to the Pro Bowl 2 years ago, and Greg Ellis. Last year's only Pro Bowler from Dallas was Larry Allen, but you talked about Coakley at the very top of the show, Dennis.
Well, listen, if they had been able to keep Randall Godfrey, they'd have some nice linebackers here. Godfrey was strictly a cap casualty. I mean, they just couldn't afford him, but they had, they had a kernel of a great linebacking core here because Coakley's a man.
Turned out to be a great move for Godfrey, who winds up playing with Tennessee and getting all the way to the AFC Championship game last year. 2nd and 5. Now they go to Wheatley. And Wheatley takes it up to the 25, where he's tackled by Greg Ellis, and that is some 1-2 punch coming out of the backfield, Dan, between Wheatley and Garner.
Yeah, Garner's really going to push Wheatley this year because Garner's not a situational running back. He can play on any down. He's got the power to run inside. He's got the speed to get outside and the talents to split out wide as a wide receiver. Gruden likes him a lot. Obviously, he saw him when he was coaching in Philadelphia. He saw what he did with the 49ers across the bay the last.
1st and 10 up at the 25-yard line. 4 minutes into the game in Mexico City with no score. Tim Brown in motion. Wheatley again. John Gruden was telling us yesterday, he said just because you think of Wheatley as an inside guy and Garner as an outside guy, it doesn't mean we're restricted to that. Garner is very tough through the middle, and we all know that, having watched him, and Wheatley can do a lot of things and catch the ball on the outside.
Well, his exact quote about Garner was, he'll knock your brains out and like it.
And the offensive linemen love him. They call him Little Big Man because he plays with a chip on his shoulder and it refuses to go down, refuses to come out of the lineup.
2nd and 7. Fake draw, buys time for Hoying, and then wide open on the far side is number 89, Mondrell Fulcher, trying to win a job as a backup tight end, and he's close to a first.
He's got a pretty good jump on that backup tight end job because of his versatility. Played a little bit of fullback at University of Miami. Now at the tight end, do a little H-back. Got a couple of touchdown passes in the Niner game, but Hoying, the good play fake. The Raiders are great at running the ball, especially from the I formation. Form is perfect. Now Fulcher's got to learn to hang on to that ball, though, not let it get popped loose on the sidelines.
Raiders with back-to-back first downs. They have it up at the 36-yard line. Split backs in this thing. To Garner, it's a little low, so he has to reach down for it. And then he's forced out of bounds up at the 42-yard line by Mario Edwards. John Gruden came over in '98. And he has really changed the philosophy. The Raiders always thought of as a vertical team stretching the field, and then you can see in '97 before he came, they were 23rd in the league in rushing, then 16th, then 3rd, and last year number 1.
And a big part of Gruden's philosophy is changing personnel and changing formations, shifting already and movement tonight. That confuses the defense. That opens up some big running lanes.
Last time the Raiders led the league in rushing was their first year, 1960. So Gruden really has brought it full circle.
Here's Garner on 2nd and 4, and Garner is shoved out of bounds near the marker up at the 46-yard line by Izell Reese.
And again, the speed of Charlie Garner gets it all the way to the chains and first down for Oakland. It's a pitch play, and this is what Garner excels at. The speed to get to the and then the power and punishing tacklers. Remember, this is not a big man, 5'10", 190 pounds, but they call him Little Big Man for hits like that.
He's a late bloomer. He was not doing this in Philly, but the last couple of years, both of them 1,000 yards.
First down at the 46-yard line. 8.5 to go in the period. Here goes Garner again, slicing through a hole across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Dennis talking about Garner as a late bloomer, came to the Eagles in '94, and you can see 399 yards and a little more than 595, almost 3.5 in '96. He never got up to 600 yards, and then the last 2 seasons with San Francisco into four figures.
I'm thinking puberty. Just a theory.
Funny things happen after you get bar mitzvah. On 2nd and 4, it's caught by Garner over the middle, inside the 40, and out of bounds at the 3. So this series has been dominated by number 25, Charlie Garner, 15-yard pickup.
And when you run the ball as well as they've been running it, then they go back and just straight drop back. No pass rush at all from the Cowboys, who had improved against New Orleans last week with a couple of sacks. But you can see Hambrick is the first Cowboy to get to Garner, and he's at least 15 yards deep.
Dano, I'm thinking Hoying looks better than he's looked for the last couple of years already. I know it's early in a preseason game. Looks pretty in control of the offense.
Been pressured yet either.
Now he drops the ball. So you give him an encomium.
I didn't know you had that.
Cubic zirconia?
Yes.
I didn't know Dennis had that power. Compliments the guy. Next play,
That's
dropping
2 weeks
the ball.
in a row. I gave it up to somebody last week, and he went south on me.
This is a problem that Quincy Carter has had with the Cowboys, but Hoying pulls out a little too quick. He's got a great center in front of him too, and Barrett Robbins. But that was a running play, and when the center goes to the left, the quarterback will ride him for just a little instant longer.
2nd down and 12 now. Hoying throws underneath. Main man has been Garner on this drive, and Garner takes it to the 25-yard line. So Charlie makes another catch. He's carried the ball twice.
Even that pass from Hoying had a nice little nuance to it that you didn't see in the pass from him, where it led Garner upfield a little, allowed him to hit his stride quickly.
And the Cowboys defensively, what Cowboy fans are going to have to get used to this year is watching them give yardage until they get into the red zone, where they want to play 4 across the field and try to create some turnovers there. But right now they're just getting picked apart by the Raiders.
Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, has watched Garner account for 41 yards on this drive. And that's caught by Roland Williams, the tight end who came over from the Rams, has a Super Bowl ring from their win over Tennessee in January of 2000. Knocked out of bounds by Arantes Grant.
Dana, do you think that Roland Williams gave the Raiders more help with the running attack than Ricky Dudley did?
I think he's a better overall tight end. He's been around for a while. This is his 5th year out of Syracuse. Did a great job with the Rams. Wasn't needed in the passing game with the Rams, but he's a sure-handed guy who really values his playing time.
1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Now Wheatley takes it to the 14-yard line. This is the kind of drive that Gruden will be able to utilize a lot this season. Garner, and then you take him out, you put Wheatley in there, a little change of pace, you bring Charlie back. Tough for the defense.
It's a great drive. 12 plays already. They started back on their 15-yard line. He's gotten everybody involved. Wheatley, Garner, Hoying's carried the ball twice. Garner, Richie Williams, and Fulcher have been receivers. In fact, the Raiders on the preseason have thrown the ball to 19 different receivers in 3 games.
2nd down and 6. They still haven't hit Rice tonight or even thrown it to him. They threw one to Tim Brown, and he dropped it on the first drive. On 2nd and 6, here's Wheatley again. Wheatley falls. And Jeff Triplett comes right in there to find out who recovers. Dat Wynn created the fumble, the middle linebacker, but Oakland retains possession. At the 16-yard line, it's Barrett Robbins, the center, who comes back to recover it.
And Dat Wynn is down because he made a tremendous collision on Wheatley. Watch number 59, left side of the screen, come in and just blow this play right up. Wheatley gets him over, the ball comes loose, heads up there by the Raiders to recover, but that's a textbook hit by Dat Wynn, but it also shows you his liability. He's not very big. He gets blasted over backwards.
Well, Wheatley's 235 and Wynn's only 243.
If that.
Yeah, 3rd and 7. And this is Tim Brown juggling and making the catch. But the question is, does he have the first down? And he appears to be, as they spot the ball, a little bit short of the first. So Brown had to get down to the turf to make the catch. This is in all likelihood going to set up a 4th and inches.
Oh, and I'm disappointed in Gruden too. I mean, 4th and inches, they've been moving the ball very easily against the Cowboys, who have offered very little resistance. But John wants to give Sebastian Janikowski some work, I guess.
Well, you know, Janikowski missed 10 field goals during the regular season last year. I think you give him as many practice kicks as you can.
Not a bad point, Dennis. And before the game, just watching him warm up down here. Of course, we're at 7,000 plus feet. He hit field goals from 68 yards away.
And then, actually, the best kicker they got out of last year's draft was Leckler, the punter. So they're covered for the next decade, I'd say. 68
Number 9,
yards.
5-yard penalty remains.
There's a delay
down.
of game call against the Raiders. What had happened was that Leckler was late in coming in. Leckler might have thought that the Raiders were going to go for it, or that it was a first down, because Leckler came onto the field.
He looks
late.
rather sheepish too, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He look even more sheepish if Janik misses this one. 32-yard attempt with Leckler to hold. And he puts it through. So that long drive culminates with 3. We have 3:09 to go in the opening period. It's Estadio Azteca, Mexico City. Oakland 3, Dallas nothing. We did. You're doing okay though today, aren't you, big boy?
I'm okay. I cut some Monty Kiffin's revenge, but I'm okay.
Talk hurts sometimes, Dennis.
You're lending new meaning to the phrase on delay. Here's Janikowski booting it through the end zone. Coming out to the 20-yard line, but there's a flag down back at the 35, and that means that the Raiders were offside.
Offside. Kicking team, number 28. 5-yard penalty. Free kick.
Number 28 is Randy Jordan, and he's not the favorite guy on that bench right now, because about the last thing you want to do at almost 7,500 feet is run down the field again.
Yeah, there's guys over on the sidelines saying, "Get me out of here, coach. I've used it all up on that last one."
Well, boys, 2 weeks from tonight we go to Denver, and it counts, and we can't wait. It's September the 10th. Football back at our regular 9 Eastern and 6 p.m. starting time. Giants against Denver, and ESPN opens its schedule the night before Sunday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern time with a good one as Miami takes on Tennessee in Nashville.
Now, Al, when the show opened, you said it.
And Al, we are 200 feet above the surface of the field, so you're right on again.
Thank you, Dan.
Albino.
I have been married 34 years, and I have been a perfect man except for screwing around on the altitude.
It is your anniversary.
It is. Thank you.
Linda, the lovely one.
Linda, the lovely one. Reggie Slinton downs it in the end zone. The crowd wanted to see a run back. Instead, it's Dallas's ball at the 20, 3-0.
Great facts. I'll relay one of them to you right after this play.
From the 20-yard line on first down with less than 3 minutes to play in the quarter. Stopped in the backfield is Emmitt Smith, and he hopes that is not a precursor of what's going to happen this year. Tony Bryant, Grady Jackson, Rod Coleman, and Regan Upshaw start up front for the Oakland Raiders tonight. The linebackers, William Thomas, the ex-Eagle. Greg Beaker's been a lifelong Raider, 9th year with the club. Elijah Alexander on the outside, and then Charles Woodson and Eric Allen, the great corners, with Pope and Dorsett, the safeties. The strength of the secondary on the outside. 2nd and 12 from the 18-yard line. They're going to give Emmitt a little tonight, and this time he gets a hole, and he says this should be more like it, and is close to a first down, where he's tackled by Marquez Pope.
That is just textbook Emmitt Smith. Set up his blocks perfectly, saw the opening, and then just accelerated through. Watch him off the left side here behind Robert Thomas. Watch the acceleration. He still has it here. Now he finishes off the play by bouncing off strong safety Marquez Pope and picking up enough yards to get the first down.
And if he can get around 100 more of those in the regular runs that long, he will be the greatest rusher in the history of the game.
Gain of about 3 now, up to the 34. Emmitt Smith, chances are he will not catch Walter Payton this year. He'd need really a phenomenal year with a team that's dubious at best right now. But the following year, that's another story, and there it is, the NFL rushing record, 145 touchdowns, and chasing Walter Payton, and he'll eclipse Barry Sanders' mark very early in the season.
103 yards from Barry. But you talk about motivation. This is the thing that's driving Emmitt Smith right now. He's got Walter Payton in his sights.
This is Troy Hambrick, who will back up Emmitt this year. There's a flag thrown on the play as he takes it up to the 34-yard line.
Well, you know, between Emmitt and Barry, it's an interesting study in the psychology of two men. It didn't seem to matter at all to Sanders. And I think it means everything to Emmitt. He is barn, and he is going for it.
You bet.
You know, few people would say that Emmitt Smith is in the top 5 running backs of all time. But if he surpasses Walter Payton's record, how can you not say he's in the top 5 running backs of all time? That drives him too.
Dan, that's a very interesting point that you bring up, because Payton was the Bear offense through so many of those years, and Sanders was the Detroit offense through so many of those years. And I think maybe Emmitt gets a little short shrift because he played with a great quarterback in Aikman and a great receiver in Irvin.
There's no question that the offense was very potent. But you look at those 145 touchdowns, that tells you all I need to know about Emmitt Smith.
Carter has to take a timeout before a 3rd and 6. Wisconsin on 3rd down and 6. Here's Carter rolling. He had room to run, but he spotted Michael Wiley open, covered by Beekert, and gets it into his arms for a 1st down.
When I talked to the Cowboys offensive consultant Ernie Zampese about Quincy Carter, he says his feet will save him. And by that he means his running ability, being able to sidestep the pass rush, showing poise in the pocket, keeping his head down the field, and then deciding not to run and throw the ball and pick up the 1st down to Michael Wiley. Good play by Carter.
Waning moments of the opening quarter. 1st down from the 44-yard line. Flag before the snap. Flozell Adams has already been the recipient of 2 penalties. A 3rd here. Couldn't hear the number. Neither could Campo.
Well, if it was Flozell, he's not playing the whole game tonight. He wanted to get it out of the way before he sat down.
Now he's coming off a bad left knee and did not practice much. He probably would have seen the last of Flozell, the Hotel Adams, tonight.
Jerron Dorsey comes in to replace him. They wind the clock. The clock ticks down to triple.
That's the end of the 1st quarter.
Theros. Just a little local color. And it's 3-0 Oakland after 1. Monday Night Football back after this from our ABC stations. Al Michaels with Dan Fouts, Dennis Miller, Eric Dickerson, Melissa Stark, Oakland and Dallas. Cowboys are regulars down here in preseason action. First time that Oakland has played a game in Mexico.
That wasn't a mask.
1st and 15. And it looked like a busted play, but he gets it off to Hambrick. Either it was a busted play or a pretty well-designed option.
That's exactly right, Al. Very well-designed option. And Quincy Carter, with great patience, as he comes down the line, it looked like a busted play because it looked like he was about to get tackled. Watch after the fake to the strong side.
Wow.
Upshaw doesn't know what to do. Perfect pitch down the sidelines, and the new age offense for the Cowboys right here. Get used to it, Cowboy fans. That's the option.
Little Connie Holloway there.
9-yard, 19-yard pickup. Now more conventionally on the ground with the fullback Robert Thomas, who gets stuffed by Grady Jackson at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Grady Jackson's going to see some time here at the beginning of the season. Probably more than he would in the regular rotation, because Darrell Russell will miss the first 4 games of the season with, what was it exactly? Now, a substance.
Well, he violated the league substance abuse policy. 4-game suspension. There he is. That means you can play in preseason, but then you are banished from all of the team's facilities prior to opening day, and you come back the day after game 4. 2nd and 12 from the 44-yard line. Hambrick. In Dallas, of course, the big story was the fact that Troy Aikman retired. They signed Tony Banks, who had started last year with the Ravens as their #1 quarterback, and gets a Super Bowl ring backing up Dilfer. And then Jerry Jones, and we're going to talk to him at the half, says, you know, I made a mistake with Aikman. I rushed Troy. We had that 1 in 15 year in '89. I'm not going to do it with Quincy Carter, who was, of course, a very surprising #2 second-round pick. But then here he is after a couple of games in preseason. They cut Banks and say, Quincy, the future is now. 3rd and 10. Carter throws, and no receiver was there.
You see Quincy signaling to Wayne McGarity that he wanted him to cut across the field and not continue down. That's part of the growing pains of a young quarterback and also a young receiver in McGarity. Here he is, 83 in the slot. And right here, he's going to take it down the field. You can see where the ball is thrown. What Garrity saw was number 37, Johnny Harris, deep. And that's why Carter wanted him to cut across this face.
I don't think Banks came in and grabbed the reins, quite frankly. Al. That's what we seem to gather from the coaches.
No question. As Emmitt told us about 3 times yesterday, he didn't grab the bull by the horn. Emmitt loves to use that phrase, and you know exactly what he meant. Touchback on the punt. Boy, these guys love to kick at 7,300 and whatever it was.
And rising.
It's high. Right. It's high. 73-47. 3-0 the score. That's foundation in architectural design. One of the most important cities in pre-Columbian America. 2 main pyramids, Dennis. The sun and the moon, and they've actually climbed one of them.
What do you mean men became gods, though? They had to, were they elevated up to the heavens? Or?
They had to work with tonight.
All right, thank you. I'm here to be taking shots at.
Here's Hoying. Scrambling. And then slides to a halt up at the 23. Just wanted, what did you think the sun and the moon were last week?
It was a nightclub.
Dennis, you're doing a heck of a job for playing hurt tonight. We appreciate it.
Wow, you know, I think it cut some bad water, some bad agua or something. But, you know, it's really not affecting.
You know, I knew there was trouble when he had pickled kaopectate for lunch. 2nd and 7 from the 23-yard line. This is Randy Jordan to the 25. Melissa, you're okay, aren't you?
I think so. So far, so good. One of the first things they tell you, though, when you come to Mexico as a tourist is don't drink the water. And who drinks more water than a football player during a game? So the NFL has had to every precaution to make sure that these guys don't get sick. For tonight's game alone, the NFL brought in 1,400 bottles of Gatorade and almost 3,000 bottles of water. And you can't forget about the ice. The NFL brought in 3,000 pounds of ice from a purified ice factory in Mexico. And as some of our coworkers have unfortunately found out, Al, you can never be too careful.
No. And Hoying was not particularly careful throwing that one into the arms of George Teague, who intercepts it and gives first down at the Oakland 27-yard line.
And gives Quincy Carter a chance to get some points on the board for the Cowboys. Good pressure up front by Ebenezer Ekuban. Teague just sitting back playing center field, and Hoying threw him a strike. Hoying been having a pretty good night until that last throw. There's the pressure from the left side. That knocks him down. Randy Jordan, or rather David Dunn, trying to make that catch over the middle right to Teague.
Well, you know, the Cowboys are going to have a lot of gaps this year, but they should be able to pressure the passer to some extent with Ekuban, Noble, Myers, Ellis, and Demetrius Underwood, who sounds like he's on his way back.
From the 27-yard line on first down, they give the ball to Troy Hambrick. To the 25. Yeah, Underwood's a major story, of course. He's the guy who was picked #1 by Minnesota a couple of years ago and had what they now call bipolar disorder. Actually tried to commit suicide a couple of times. Cowboys working very diligently with Underwood on and off the field to keep him healthy in every respect.
Well, you know, can you think of a nicer man to be in charge of a young man who was having some troubles than Mr. Campo? I mean, he's one of the best, nicest coaches we've met in this league.
2nd down and 9. Hambrick. Room to the outside inside the 20. And about a yard shy of the first down where Johnny Harris, 37, makes the hit.
A lot of gloom and doom with the Cowboys, but we were talking about it, Al. It's not necessarily the case this year. They've got 2 pretty good lines, a defense and offensive line. It really comes down to Quincy, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a big, unfortunately, the QB position handled by QC. A lot of pressure on him. Doesn't help tonight to have Galloway and Rocket out, but I think he's performing well already.
Yeah, he looks good.
3rd and 1 and through the middle. First down. Carter himself for a gain of 2.
You know, one of the things that Carter had a lot of problems with, and it's an ongoing problem for him, is just taking the from center. They worked on him in practice. They want him to cross his thumbs underneath the center. He does that here, but watch, his hands will still separate, and that's a major problem for a quarterback. They thought by having one thumb overlap the other, that would keep his hands together. That film there was taken just before the game.
1st and 10. Again, the fake, and he runs the option, and he takes it to the end zone.
Well, once he does get the snap, he can certainly do some things that other quarterbacks can't do in this league.
The new breed NFL quarterback. We've seen Culpepper do this for the Vikings. And now it's Quincy Carter's time. 230 pounds, great fake there. Now watch the strength. He's not going to be denied by a defensive back. Just bounces right off him and into the end zone. 2 good option plays for Quincy Carter. Remember the pitch, the 19-yard gain to Hambrick, and then that touchdown.
And number 58, Elijah Alexander, kind of bit on the guy there. Quincy turned it up. We're looking at the old Oklahoma Sooner offense.
NFL defenses aren't used to seeing the option.
Tim Cedar for the point after. Quincy Carter for the new look Cowboys. 7-3 Vaqueros.
Quincy Carter longed to capitalize on the interception by Bobby Hoying. 4 plays and in the end zone thanks to that beautifully executed option.
Mike Anor to kick off. Every kick tonight has gone into or through the end zone, and this is Eric Metcalf, who spent last year out of football, the longtime former Brown and Charger, and played with the Cardinals for a while, and he's trying to work his way back, but he's 7 yards deep, and the crowd's waiting for a run back. Got my sombrero. Here we go. Randy Jordan, gain of 2 up to the 22-yard line.
Cowboys were the worst in the NFL in rushing defense last year. They allowed almost 5 yards a carry, 4.9, and 3 200-yard rushers, and that's the first time it's ever happened in NFL history. Deuce Staley, the Eagles in the opener, and tonight's opponent Charlie Garner when he was with the 49ers. And Tampa Bay's Warrick Dunn. One thing the Cowboys want to do is to move their front more this year. Demetrius Underwood is a big part of the solution because of his size. They hope to keep him off the linebacker, that win. Another linebacker looks Dexter Coakley on the sidelines there. He delivered that big hit.
Coakley is about the last guy they can afford to lose at this point. As you can see, the only team in the history of the league to give up 200 or more yards in a game 3 separate times. And when that happens, you do what Denver does. I mean, when Corey Dillon ripped them apart, not only did they change the defense, they changed the defensive coordinator, but Dallas stuck with a lot of the same people, and Mike Zimmer as well.
And the other part, they're going to try to get more 8-man fronts up there. They got a great strong safety in Darren Woodson. Orontes Grant taking over now for Coakley, but with Woodson as a safety, he can play near that line of scrimmage, and with his size, he's as big as most of their linebackers anyway. But that creates islands on the outside for the corner, so it's a vicious cycle to catch 22, if you will.
2nd and 8 from the 22-yard line. 9 minutes left in the half. Dallas leading by 4. Pressure on. It's a wobbly pass away, and that's caught for a first down by Marcus Knight.
You know, Al, the interesting thing about that stat you showed about the 3 200-yard games last year is in the prior 40 years, close to 600 games, they had only given up 200 twice. And then they did it 3 last year. So when the bottom falls out, it falls out.
Here's Marcus Knight in his 2nd year now with the Raiders, was on injured reserve all last year, University of Michigan. But he's got quickness, and he knows where the sticks are. As soon as he catches that ball, he's looking for that first, and he gets it.
First down at the 35-yard line. Boing over the middle, short dump underneath, caught by James Jett.
there's a story there. After talking to Jerry Rice last night about how his patterns have changed, he's going to be running more in routes. James Jett, Jerry Rice says, has no turn indicators on his helmet. He doesn't make many left or right turns. He likes to use that going straight down the field. That one was across the middle.
He's a streak route guy. And you know what? Bobby Hoying's feet don't look as antsy this year, do they?
Meanwhile, Rice is on the sideline, and wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Jerry the rest of the night, nor Tim Brown. 2nd and 7, little swing, and that's one hop, so it's incomplete. And the thing about Jerry Rice, and we spoke with him yesterday, a couple of things. Number one, he said, I never, ever gave any thought to retirement. He was mildly perturbed about how he was used in San Francisco in the Mariucci regime, but in all fairness to what Steve did there, remember, Rice was hurt in the very first game Mariucci ever coached as the 49er head coach, and when he got Jerry back, he got Jerry coming back from rehab.
And this offense is a lot more similar to what Jerry ran when he first came to the 49ers and Bill Walsh was the head coach.
3rd down and 7, and Hoying gets knocked down. Not an intentional blow to the helmet as Dimitri Underwood comes in, and then Hoying ducks down, and Underwood will get credit for the sack.
He's 6'6", 312 pounds. He's got good explosion, good quickness. From the left side of the screen, he just powers his way over the offensive lineman there. That's pretty good guard there in Mo Collins.
You know, when you look at Rice's numbers on that graphic out, it's kind of apropos we're in Mexico City, because the only thing that I've seen that freakish is like Beeman's jump, which stood for all those years.
Yeah. The incredible jump in the 1968 Olympics. By the way, that didn't take place in this stadium. This was the soccer stadium in the 68 Olympics. Another venue about 5 miles away. Leclerc's punt is fair caught back at the 19-yard line by Wayne McGarity. 49-yard move. 6:55 left in the half. 7-3 Dallas against Wisconsin.
Go Ducks!
The Ducks and the Badgers. Who? Who that going to beat them Ducks? From the 20-yard line. Carter on 1st down throws a wobbler high, incomplete. It was tipped.
Yeah, it was tipped. Quincy, he's very sensitive to that wobbly pass.
I'd have him moving out of the pocket almost every time, so he's playing on instinct instead of intellectualizing.
2nd and 10. Hands the ball to Hambrick. ED, what's your evaluation to this point?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Troy Aikman set the standard as a Cowboy quarterback. There's no doubt about that. And as the Cowboy, like the new quarterback they have right now, I really believe that this guy can get the job done. But one thing, when they got Tony Banks, he did not, according to Emmitt Smith, he did not lose the leadership that they needed. He did not come into the training camps when they had the passing drills. He did not do that. He didn't get a chance to really know his receivers. This is one thing that a young quarterback like Quincy needs, is a leader as a quarterback, and that is one thing that Tony Banks did not get a chance to do.
Yeah, Banks got cut as Carter throws, and that's caught. Nice pass. And caught for a 1st down by Kevin Drake. And the one thing about Banks, at least he has a job. He got picked up, and you might have seen it by the Washington Redskins, and actually played pretty well the other night against Cleveland.
Yeah, but with him and Jeff George in D.C., you're talking about unrealized greatness central right now. Good luck to Marty figuring those two guys out.
Yeah.
Best pass of the night for Quincy Carter. That was a strike to Kevin Drake on the out route. He's got that strength to throw that out route. That's important.
14-yard gain for Carter, a kid who grew up in Georgia. And he gives the ball to Hambrick, and Hambrick has the 1st down. Quincy Carter, a Georgia kid, he opted to play baseball. The Cubs drafted him, and he spent 2 years in their minor league system, and he didn't hit very well. It averaged just a little bit better than 200. Then went back to college, played 3 years at Georgia, and gets drafted by the Cowboys.
Well, it's an interesting position for Quincy, because he's got to walk that fine line between the humility of a rookie and the arrogance of a #1 quarterback. It must be a continuous tightrope.
No, that humility of the rookie has got to go out the door, because he's got to be the arrogant leader of this football team. That's what his teammates want, whether he's a rookie or not, Dennis.
Hambrick stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
And he's a mature young man, too, 23 years old.
Yeah, the 2 years of pro baseball probably helped him grow a little. At least he's out there dealing with reporters and stuff. Wasn't the majors, but sure he had to face the press.
Pretty confident kid. And talking to him yesterday, we said, what was your first reaction when you heard that Banks was cut? And he said, I was excited. You know, you would have thought he would have said I was shocked or stunned. Nope, I was excited. 2nd and 12 from the 43. Pressure on, gets it off. It's incomplete. And here's what Quincy says the fans around the country will find out about him this year.
I love that word, Kent, and I love the word doubt. You know, when I hear both of those words, that's when I push a little bit harder. And I'm not pressing to try to prove anything to anybody, but I know the talent I got, and I know the guys around me, and I know the confidence the guys have around me.
Well, you know, Campo told us he's most worried about Quincy vis-a-vis third downs because he's going to have to depend on his reads there. And play-action passes don't work as well on third down, and that's where he's going to have his potential troubles. Let's hope.
And Experience's defense will shift around a lot, try to confuse him, get him to throw the ball to them.
Well, here's a 3rd and 12. Carter hangs in the pocket. The defender falls down. The catch is made by Damon Hodge, and he has a first to the 33-yard line. So Hodge got position on the defensive back who fell down on the play, and that was Calvin Branch, and it's a 25-yard gain.
And Branch is going to yell that he got pushed off and pushed down by Damon Hodge. Now, at top of the screen here, another fine throw by Carter, and that's just poor coverage by Branch. He allowed Hodge to get to the inside, tried to grab him, and then slipped. Perfect spiral, that one, right on the hands, and a big 3rd down conversion for the Cowboys.
It's a big night for the get this kid some confidence.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Fake draw, pressure on, no problem for Carter. Throws against the grain, caught inside the 5-yard line by Tucker. He got position on Branch, and Jason Tucker makes it 1st and goal.
Making something out of nothing.
Oh boy, and he really took a lick after he threw this ball too. So he's going to show his toughness. DeLawrence going to lay him down, number 95. He gets away from Darren Mickle right there with great move there. Watch the shot by Grant. Carter never saw the catch by Tucker, but he's going to be happy when he sees it's inside the 5.
1st and goal now at the 4-yard line. 2:45 to the half, 7-3 Dallas. Back to the ground to Hambrick on a sweep. Touchdown Dallas.
Do you think the Cowboys should change their name to the Vaqueros? They don't win preseason games. They don't look this good in preseason games. But Quincy Carter's doing the job, leading his team down the field. Great block there by Robert Thomas. Seals the corner. It's a walk-in for Hambrick.
Campo has to love what he's seeing here. Not only is Quincy putting points on the board, he looks reasonably in control doing it.
It's good. Cedar for the point after. In 3 prior games in Mexico City in preseason play in the 90s, the Cowboys did not score a single touchdown. Tonight, Carter's led up to 2. Hambrick in here, 14-3 Dallas. Work of a Mexican architect with a definite European influence. Located atop a hill in Chapultepec Park. I just love saying Chapultepec.
Like that statue of Justin Timberlake there. Nice thing.
Quincy Carter on the Dallas sideline has led his team to an 11-point lead. Eric Metcalf again downs it in the end zone. They should make him kick off from the 20 in Mexico City.
Not a bad idea.
2 weeks from tonight, just a fortnight away, year 32 of Monday Night Football, and it's a beauty. It's the NFC champion Giants, and they do expect Jason Sehorn to play. He had his knee flushed today against the Broncos. Terrell Davis, by the way, will play half of the preseason game on Friday. Miami and Tennessee open up ESPN's schedule. So the latest from Denver is that Davis, who played a good part of the game the other night against New Orleans, will play about half the game, and then Mike Shanahan will make his call as to the opening night running back starter. From the 20-yard line up to the 25 goes Michael Wiley as he takes the pass from Bobby Hoying.
32 years, Albino.
Zach Crockett actually made the catch. 32 2 years.
So you're saying football started a scant 2 years after Representative Condon and his wife married.
That's correct. 2nd down and 5, and that is caught out in the flat here by Terry Kirby. And Kirby is out of bounds up at the 34 as Oakland goes to the hurry up with 2:07 left in the half.
There's yet another guy to come across the bay from the 49ers. Kirby, we got Garner, we've got Rice now.
He really bailed the Raiders out at the end of the season last year when they had injuries to Tyrone Wheatley. But Terry Kirby's very, very versatile. Fullback or halfback.
John Gruden at one point was on the 49ers staff. 2-minute warning in Mexico City. 14-3 Dallas. New on the situation with the officials because Paul Tagliabue and Tom Condon, the two principals in the dispute between the officials and the league right now over pay increases, are meeting as we speak in Dallas.
False start. 89 offense. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
And the bottom line is if an agreement is not reached, it's possible the game's next weekend.
They've already been hired. They're in to be trained. And Wednesday morning is the deadline.
1st and 15, and they've already been paid. And that is caught by Terry Kirby. And it's not that they necessarily have gotten their checks, but whether they ref no games, 1 or 2, they're all going to get $4,000.
Well, they asked the regular refs to show a little more personality this year, so they ran with it and went on strike.
Not yet. Not yet.
2nd and 8, timeout. Melissa.
I got a little question for you. What in the world does John Gruden have in common with Julia Roberts, Faith Hill, George Clooney, and Catherine Zeta-Jones? This spring, he was voted one of People Magazine's 50 most beautiful people. His players have had a field day with this one. They told Gruden he never would have made the top 50 if it weren't for them. Gruden told his players he would have made the top 10 if it weren't for them. When you watch some of Gruden's expressions on the sidelines, it is hard to believe that he ever made this list.
I don't want to toot my own horn, Albino, but I was 51. Right?
You were?
Right on the cusp of that list.
This year?
No. You know, Gruden, this is his first time out of the United States of America.
I know
is that amazing?
I know it. 2nd down and 8.
He showed me his new passport photo. He's wearing an eye patch.
This is caught by Marcus Knight for a first down at the 43-yard line.
Beautiful throw by Hoying as he squeezed it in. Something when an Ohio State Buckeye throws one to a Wolverine, but it worked that time.
Timeouts remaining for Oakland. $1:20 left in the half. Kirby trying to get out of bounds, and he does.
And they're well within Janikowski's range now.
Well, I think Messrs. Hoying and Carter have both assuaged some of the apprehension about them tonight. True, Hoying is the number 2 man, but you were wondering who was going to back up Gannon. If Gannon goes down, you're looking at Rodney and Hoying and the rookie. What's his name again?
Marcus Tuiasosopo.
Yeah, this is very valuable for Hoying. To get a start is a lot better than coming off the bench. He didn't think he was going to start tonight. We all thought that Gannon was, but he came down with something, and now here's Hoying. There's Marcus Tuiasosopo, number 8, standing next to Rodney Peete, number 16.
Hoying again. And there's a flag for interference. Tony Dixon, their number 2 draft choice, interfering with Fulcher.
Well, as you were saying today, other than the Packers with Favre, probably no other team in
Has interference. Defense. Number 24. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
This is where the Cowboys want to use number 24, Tony Dixon, in nickel coverage as a deep safety. Fulcher running a corner route, and good call by the officials as Dixon is
pack with Favre, but other than that, if they lose Gannon here in Oakland, they've got some real problems this year.
Here is Hoying now, faking one way, the other way. Well, at least in Oakland.
A formation thing. They thought that was the number he was replacing.
1st and 5 from the 22-yard line. Hoying. Here are flags coming in from every angle.
You got to get Matt Stinchcomb for holding, and not a very good job of holding either.
They don't have to call a timeout because the flag automatically stops the clock.
Greg Ellis with a quick move to the inside, and Stinchcomb was just standing there and had to reach out and grab with his right hand.
Sukotain ball. Ofensa. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
In Spanish. How about that?
Cowboys.
First down and 15 from the 32. Hoying. That's caught by Fulcher. I'll tell you what, preseason or not, Hoying, now he takes a timeout. He'd love to throw a touchdown pass. Oakland with one timeout remaining. Study to the end zone. Oh. No, doesn't have possession. It looked like Marcus Knight had come up with it. They're going to argue the call. The interesting thing is, here in Mexico, it's the only game in preseason this year where they don't have the challenge system set up. So even if the Raiders wanted to challenge this, they couldn't.
That's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Sean Key rips it out when he hits the ground, but this is a touchdown. He's got possession there, and now he's down. He still has the ball, and now it comes loose. You know, the fans here in Mexico City showing their knowledge. They're calling for replay right now.
Bobby Hoying, I mean, think about this. This poor guy who hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since '97 would have had one if there was replay. We did.
Got to bring that parking pass next time.
Third down and 7 from the 24-yard line. Underneath, Randy Jordan, and he's out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So well shy of the first down, and the Raiders will have to settle for a Janikowski field goal attempt.
Yeah, going back to watching Tim Brown argue with the side judge on that play, down on the 8-yard line. Way out of the player's box, and of course it's preseason, and of course he is Tim Brown, but regular season he might have drawn a flag for being that far off the bench.
I wonder if the replacement officials would have gotten that right.
We did up here.
Yes. 39-yard attempt for Janikowski, and that kick hits the top of the upright. So they should have had a touchdown, and they don't even get a field.
Really, fans went crazy.
Scratching and clawing, as Keith Jackson would say. Here's Janikowski kicking off, and every kick at this altitude tonight into the end zone.
Take a look at the first half highlights for Quincy Carter and the Cowboys. They unveiled the option play. 19-yard gain here by Troy.
But might be down to Quincy and one other who could fake the pitch and then turn it up like that. That was impressive.
From the 20-yard line, first down for young Carter. And this is the first carry for Tony Taylor. No, not the former second baseman.
For the Philadelphia Phillies.
Rookie from northwestern Louisiana, Tony Taylor. Was talking about Carter with a longer run by far than Troy Aikman was ever able to manifest on a touchdown run. Only 2 longer touchdown runs by quarterbacks in Dallas history. Don Meredith had one, and Roger Staubach had the other.
The Dandaroo.
Yep. And 61 to 71.
No, Dandaroo had the quick feet.
Well, there's Carter with Dandaroo's number, throwing for a first down as the catch is made up at the 31-yard line by Huggins, Johnny Huggins.
And Quincy Carter may be the best running quarterback the Cowboys have had since the Hall of Famer Roger Staubach. Carter with his hands still apart. You see the way he takes that snap. That's going to cause him problems somewhere down the road. He's going to drop that snap when he gets a little bit distracted. The job of reading the coverage, it appeared that time, to find Huggins on the crossing route.
That's a dangerous subconscious tick the young man has there.
10, they're going to run an end around here. Not for much, however. That's Reggie Swinton. Stopped near the line of scrimmage.
I kind of think he does think he's keeping his thumbs intertwined because he was so assertive about that in our meeting. But as you can see from our replays, he's not.
Well, let's take one more look at it. Watch the left hand separate before the ball even comes up to the right hand. You know, we may see a fumble tonight if this rain continues and Carter continues to Rodney loosely with his hands trying to get the snap.
They might have to go to the side hike.
2nd and 8. Back to the single lane. Wow. And under pressure that time. That was Darren Mickle coming in, and there's a flag thrown by the referee for intentionally grounding it, and he's saying that, don't you see my receiver out there? So the head linesman will come in and check with Jeff Triplett.
That's a little Jack Sikma thing there.
3rd down and 8 from the 34. Carter. Can he run for the first down?
Nope. He can run for his life, though.
Yeah.
Discretion, the better part of that.
Well, you know, it is, Dennis, because he didn't throw the ball down the field into traffic, didn't throw an interception. Now he'll bring the punting team out. That's the worst thing that happened here. They kick the ball back to the Raiders, and at this altitude, who knows how far this one might go.
What's the altitude here?
Well, it's 73.47, but we're 200 feet above, so that makes it 8,100.
Mike Ganor to do the punting. David Dunn will run it back. And the altitude creates a high snap. Dunn muffs it. Loose ball. Covered up at the 17. Flag down. And for a personal foul against the Raiders.
Was apoplectic about the fact they had 11 penalties in their last game, and he says they've got to batten down the hatches in that area.
He also brought Ricky Brady in to be the long snapper, and that long snapper was also a high snapper.
It's going to be a personal foul against Chris Howard. There's Brady, who was brought in by the Cowboys to handle the long snapping duties. How's your lip reading, Dennis? I'll forget it.
You know, he's just being obstinate there. He won't turn the mic on. That mechanism is working properly. I installed it.
Great catch by Mike Ganor. Watch number 30 come in here with a late shot. That's after the ball was kicked, so the Raiders will maintain possession here. This is not roughing the punter. This is just a personal foul.
So the Raiders have it down by 11. Mexico City, they've been playing a game here about 2 out of every 3 years now. The 90s and into the 21st century, and they'll get a look at Rodney Peete. Yes, Rodney is still around. Backing up at Oakland and trying to win a spot on the roster, which might be tough. And they start from the 9-yard line, and it's Terry Kirby. It's tough because you've got Gannon and you've got Hoying, and they want to keep the rookie Tuiasosopo, but there's Rodney through his career.
Well, and Gruden said that he may keep 4 quarterbacks. If it takes 4 quarterbacks to ensure that they have a decent backup, that's what he's going to do. There's Skip Peete, his brother, running backs coach, and doesn't he have a lot of fun with the talent that they have there?
Well, the choice will come down to whether you keep Rodney Peete or Gary Beeman.
2nd and 1 at the 18. Rodney hasn't thrown a regular season pass since 99. He was inactive for all of the games in Oakland last year as the flag comes in. Momentary first down for Terry Kirby.
But if you look back in Raider quarterback history, you see another USC Trojan who played a long time for the Raiders, and that was Vince Evans. Rodney Peete fits that category.
And Vince still wants to play, doesn't he?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We all still want to play.
In fact, Fauci was called earlier today by the Bengals.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Harvey Fauci.
Nick Fauci, maybe.
Just kidding. By the way, John Kitna was named as the Cincinnati starter today. The Bears named Shane Matthews as their starter. Those jobs had been in question as to who was going to begin on opening day. No question for Gruden. He'll go with Gannon, and Quincy will be the man in Dallas in 2 weeks. 2nd and 10. Gets necktied by Demetrius Underwood. 2nd sack for Underwood, and that's why the Cowboys, and before that the Dolphins, took a chance on a guy drafted by Minnesota so high, and then they had to release him because of his personal disorders a few days later.
He was a great player at Michigan State, and these are the type of skills he had there. The one move to the inside there on John Bach, and then right to the quarterback and right down to the turf. Poor Rodney Peete, he hadn't been hit like this in a long time. That's a big shot from a 300-pounder.
That kid's going to end up starting soon.
Monster sack. 3rd and 17. Keep it on the ground. Send Kirby up to the 10-yard line to give Leckler a little bit more room after the punch snap on 4th down. 10.5 to go in the 3rd. 14-3 Dallas. Well, the Raiders will open up Sunday in Kansas City, one of their arch rivals. Dallas opens up. Very tough game at home against Tampa Bay.
Well, Tampa Bay probably the Oakland of the NFC this year. Those might be the 2 teams to see the Super Bowl.
Clearly 2 contending teams as the flag is thrown again. Leckler's kick is fielded by Reggie Swinton. He gets tripped up as he brings it back to the 46-yard. A flag down all the way back at the 4-yard line. And it's a hold against the kicking team.
They should decline this. This is pretty good field position for the Cowboys to start this next drive.
There's going to be a timeout? Yeah.
I'm sure everybody on the special team squad is hoping that Campos says, forget it. We'll take the ball where it is.
Triplett saying, somebody tell me, you want to accept or decline?
Yeah. We'll get him over here.
I don't think the mic malfunction is a job action. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road. Verizon Wireless, join in. And Killian's Irish Red, which reminds you, one look says a lot. Is that Herb Alpert? Yes, it was.
It was from the SR. Could get a return here because the Raider guys are probably a little gassed, right, Dano?
Well, they sure should be.
Don't say gas. And don't call me Bino.
Are you doing okay over there, Al?
I'm doing fine.
Al's starting to flag a little.
Good job! Here's Leckler's punt. And that's a beautiful kick. It's an angled kick. Pins him up against the sideline. And then Swinton runs 50 yards to turn the corner. It's taken down at the 43. That's good pursuit on that as well at the end of the play. Raymond Perryman makes the tackle. 14-3. Stay in the rest. Grand Plaza of the District Federal.
The District Federal is like the corresponding thing to the District of Columbia in the States, right?
That is correct. And the population of this metropolitan area is 8, second largest in the world. Only Tokyo is bigger. Tony Taylor stopped for no gain. Melissa, what's up?
Al, for 8 seasons, Larry Allen has been one of the Cowboys' best offensive linemen. He is a 6-time Pro Bowler. He's known for being one of the nastiest players in the NFL. And as you're about to see, he is also one of the strongest. I'll give you more details after this play.
I'm out of breath. 2nd and 10 from the 44.
It looked like me picking up a check.
He's right. Gain of 1. The rest of the story, Melissa?
Well, this summer, with a number of his teammates standing by, encouraging him on, Allen lifted 700 pounds. His previous high was 635. How did he do it? He said he just started working out earlier this offseason.
You know, we saw that. You had one of the guys who he wasn't responding. You see the guy go like diving over him?
I think that was the rocket dove across him.
I think you're right.
Larry Allen went to 4 different high schools for his 4 years of high school, one each year. And that's probably why he's so malleable about his shifting positions on the offensive line.
Anthony Wright, the quarterback, on 3rd down and 9. Wright throws to Swinton. And Swinton with some nice moves. Boy, he loves running horizontally, as he proved on that punt. return and does here as well to the 15-yard line, a 40-yard gain.
How about them Cowboys, Dennis?
Yeah, he's proving that he's in great shape. Swinton ran all that way on that punt return, and then after a little bit of a breather, catches this well-anticipated pass by Anthony Wright. He's going to get some good blocking down the field here, too. There's a nice one there on Calvin Branch, then out of bounds before Johnny Harris could take a shot at him. Wright did a nice job of throwing that ball before Swinton got into his break, and he almost got the way to the end zone.
Well, that's fast when you can run out from your towel.
Yeah, threw in the towel is still on the field at the 49-yard line. Nobody's picked it up. First down and 10 from the 15. Wright swings it outside. That's caught inside the 10. James Whalen, tight end.
Boy, Whalen's mad because his momentum carried him out of bounds. He could have got in the end zone.
Hey guys, that Tony Banks decision is looking better.
Well, Anthony Wright got some experience last year, and you can just see a much more confident quarterback in Wright. And watch how disappointed Whalen is after not being able to stop and turn upfield.
I think he was asking a little much of himself. That's a big man going at a fast speed.
First and goal for Wright, who last time we saw Wright, it was the last Monday night game last year, Christmas night at Tennessee. And it's Tony Taylor taking it to the 4, and that was the night. Remember talking to Troy Aikman on the field before the game, and Troy, at that point at least, if he had made the decision, say that he did. Yeah, was still thinking about it.
He definitely wanted to play, but I think after deciding that he'd rather be a broadcaster, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Hey, if he thought football was a contact sport.
Just pats on the back for you, Ken Duke.
Second and goal from the 4.
Nice.
Right. Good move. Touchdown, Dallas. Bobby Brooks couldn't make the tackle, and Quincy Carter watching his backups scamper in. So 2 rushing touchdowns by the Dallas quarterbacks tonight.
We got Jerry Jones right down below us, and he looks happy.
He looks like a genius. Anthony Wright shows everybody he can run the ball a little bit, and Bobby Brooks is going to be ribbed by his teammates as he goes for that inside fake, and Wright goes in untouched.
Tim Cedar for the point after.
It's away, it's away, it's away.
And the Dallas Cowboys looking good in Mexico City. 6:21 remaining in the third. Touchdown for Wright, and Dallas extends its lead to 18. Time right here on ABC. Cowboys leading 18. Are we going to get a run back? Nope. All night long, Eric Metcalf downs it in the end zone. All-time preseason record for touchbacks. Consecutive games with 2 or more receptions. As you can see, Jerry Rice, that mark still going, 145. Tim Brown next, the 2 teammates, and then Chris Carter of the Vikings had a 91 streak in the 90s. And there they are. Rice and Brown, 1 more preseason game for John Gruden's team, and then it starts for real in Kansas City. Marcus Tuiasosopo, the rookie from Washington, is the new quarterback. Starts with a play fake and then swings it out to the near side, and it is caught by Jeremy Brigham, and the tight end has a first down. So here's Tuiasosopo. A look at him after Hoying played most of the game. Gannon not playing tonight. We saw a little bit of Pete.
And another mobile quarterback, Marcus Tuiasosopo, is probably his greatest asset is his leadership ability. Had a great career at the University of Washington, and Gruden said he's going to put a lot on him. He'll give him as much offense as possible, make Tui prove to Gruden that he can't do something.
And he throws, and that is caught by Zach Crockett wearing Marcus Allen's old uniform.
You know, Al, it's always special to see history made. Keith Jackson and I were in Husky Stadium a couple of years back. Marcus do something no man has ever done before in college football. Rush for over 200 yards and pass for over 300 yards. and he did it against a pretty good football team, the Stanford Cardinals, who, by the way, went on to play in the Rose Bowl.
There's an interesting juxtaposition here between Carter and Tuiasosopo. As a gain of 3 for Kirby here. Think about this. When the Cowboys choose, they have the 53rd choice. Tuiasosopo is still on the board. They, of course, go for Carter. And then 6 picks later, Oakland says, we'll take Tuiasosopo.
And the Cowboys just felt that Quincy Carter possessed a stronger, more accurate arm. And we have seen that accurate arm and strong arm tonight. First time in the preseason for Quincy. But Tuiasosopo has a huge upside as well. He's very similar to the guy that he will eventually perhaps replace in Rich Gannon. Similar skills.
3rd down and 1. Good ball handling. Not a bad pass, just a little far from Marcus Knight. That was a nice ball.
Boy, he had 2 guys open too. He went for the home run there. Jeremy Brigham, the tight end, was open down the sidelines, but that ball was thrown by about an inch too far for Marcus Knight, who's just playing in bad luck tonight. Remember the touchdown pass that was taken away from him? This ball is 1 inch too far for Knight.
Well, you got to keep Knight on the week just because of the bad cards he's been handed.
Oh, he'll make the team. He's shown a lot in preseason.
4th and 1, down by 18 preseason. Of course they're going for it. Pretty close.
Second effort.
Kirby. Yeah. Terry Kirby. Let's see where they spot it. He has the first down. In all, yes, he does. And we go to Melissa.
Al, when Marcus Tuiasosopo was a little kid, 7 and 8 years old, his father Manu played for the 49ers, and he remembers very well hanging around the locker room and meeting his idol Jerry Rice. Now they are playing on the same team together. When they first saw each other, Rice went right over to him, said, "I remember when you were 3 feet tall. Man, you make me feel old." But Rice is looking on the positive side. He says, "That's longevity for you."
I thought it was interesting how much Rice talked about wanting to win a Super Bowl for Tim Brown.
Tuiasosopo gets back to the line of scrimmage. Well, Jerry knows what it's like, knows that feeling. Would love to see it for Tim and a few other people, and there they are, the 2 stalwarts.
Well, Tim's sort of like the Phil Mickelson of the NFL now, the greatest player to not win the major yet.
753 yards shy of an impossible figure when you think about it, 20,000 yards.
Which impossible?
There's no foul for the hit out of bounds. It was an incident and tripped over the sideline chain. 2nd down.
So they threw a flag, but it was only because he had tripped over the chain. Something we've done from time to time, Dan.
You got a chain up in the booth here.
I don't know. Is Rice the greatest football player ever? You look at those numbers, you think, who's further out in front in their field of endeavor than he is?
Certainly the greatest receiver ever.
And on 2nd and 10, the ball goes to Kirby for a gain of 3. Well, what about spreading the ball around and working with Tim Brown and playing with the Raiders? Here's what Jerry has to say.
When you think about the Raiders, it's Tim Brown, and I'm just honored to have an opportunity to line up with this guy, somebody I respect. And you know, Tim, he's older, he's very mature, and we have talked about this situation. You know, I might go out, I might catch 2 balls, he might catch 10, but as long as we working together as a team for the same goal, you know, we'll deal with it.
Al, wasn't Tim Brown gone from the Raiders for
at one
millisecond?
Point, as Eric Metcalf want to acknowledge his making the catch. In the early 90s, it was 93 or 94, I want to say 93, Brown was a free agent. The Raiders had the right to match. Tim actually made a deal with the Denver Broncos, of all teams, the Raiders' arch rivals, prepared to go to Denver. The Raiders had the opportunity to match, and they did.
God, he would blow Al's mind if he went into the hall as a Bronco.
From the 44. That is, you're unbelievable. Kirby. Let's go to Eric quickly.
Well, Al, Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver to ever play. I just don't understand why he wants to keep on playing. This is his 17th season. He played 16 years with the 49ers, and he holds virtually every record there is. He has 3 Super Bowl rings, all the records. Now, my son played for more than one team. Do I wish I could have finished my career with the Rams? Most definitely. Now, Rice is in a Raider uniform, but I'll always see him as a 49er. And in my opinion, he should have retired a 49er.
Very interesting commentary. AD as Randy Jordan. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I think that you should be able to play as long as you want to play and you're healthy. Jerry Rice is a workout freak. Nobody is in better shape than Jerry Rice. And he just is insatiable as far as records are concerned and winning's concerned. This is a great opportunity for him. He realizes the talent that is on this Raider team. And having a receiver on the other side, such a professional in Tim Brown, a veteran quarterback in Rich Gannon, and a rushing attack like the Raiders have, Jerry's thinking Super Bowl all the way. That's why he's playing for this team.
I think Jerry's got something to prove, too, vis-a-vis the team across the bay.
First and 10 from the 46. Over the middle, Zach Crockett. Flag down.
I'm not sure he felt the time for his playing time to be wound down was 3 years ago.
Well, that's what he told us, and he wants to play, and he's still not talking about retirement. And I think I'm a let live guy. I mean, why in the world would you let any sports writer or sportscaster
Pass interference
or critic
defense number 57? The penalty will be accepted. Automatic first down.
It's J.J. Jones. You know, let somebody else tell you what you're supposed to do. Come on.
You wouldn't. This guy transcends. I mean, he has set the bar higher for himself than anybody in this league sets the bar high for himself. If he feels he can still do it, what am I going to question his perceptions? I mean, nobody has a stranglehold on his strengths and limitations more than Jerry Rice.
And that legacy thing is overstated. So what if a guy goes out with a bad last year? Big deal.
Good job, good job.
That's incomplete. Plenty of guys have gone out with bad last years, and you barely remember them. You remember the body of the career.
I know. They always wheel that Willie Mays stumble out. And, you know, I'm supposed to forget the 660 homers, and you know, and the Vic Wertz thing, because he stumbled once in his last year.
Some people, that makes for a good story. How did you go out, Dano?
On my shield in an ambulance. No, you know, I think we all would want to play as long as we possibly could. I know that time was right for me to go, believe me.
Second and 10 at the 29-yard line. Marcus throws. And that's caught by Zach Crockett. Nice little drive underway here as the third quarter will come to a climax. Raiders trying to narrow the gap. The clock restarts here, and we come to the end of the third period with Dallas leading Oakland 21-3. Monday Night Football from Mexico City. After this message from our ABC stations.
You know, these cheerleaders, average career length 3 to 4 years, they can blow a hammy at any time.
Yep. Interesting thought. Here's the 13th play of this Raider series with Tuiasosopo throwing, and getting to the 15 is Andrew Glover for a first down. So nice, efficient, and effective drive for Tuiasosopo, the Washington rookie.
Well, we've seen all the second echelon and the newcomer quarterbacks step up tonight and play pretty well. They all look reasonably under control.
Here are the comparisons. Marcus coming into the game late. Carter, of course, played the first half and into the second half.
Well, the thing that's got us interference and defensive coordinators around the league is Quincy Carter running that option.
First and 10 from the 15, and Tuiasosopo is able to hold on to the ball as Lynn Scott. He's one guy who is nowhere, had no chance to make the team seemingly early in camp out of Northwestern Oklahoma, and he looks like the reincarnation of Bill Bates in preseason.
That's who they're comparing him to, the great safety who played with a lot of effort. Watch as Scott comes in clean, and one of the Raider running backs did not decide to block him, but that's what happens to rookie quarterbacks. They get blitzed by everybody, including safeties.
Well, that was a Billy Bates hit.
2nd and 15 from the 20. Sopo throws and reaching for it. Boy, you could tell Terry Kirby knew he was going to get whacked, and he dropped the ball.
And that was a very dangerous pass, and Terry will have words with Marcus. You cannot lead a receiver along the sidelines up the field. Throw it to the outside so that Kirby is not in harm's way, as he might have been on that play. He was looking around, wasn't he?
Oh, sure. He knew he was coming.
Well, as he should. Fourth quarter of the last exhibition game. You're far down the road in your career as Terry. You don't want to lose it tonight.
Steven Johnson covering, 3rd and 15, and that one is deflected at the line of scrimmage. Speaking of Bill Bates, there he is, holding the right arm up, cowboy hat on. Now an assistant with Joe Avezzano on special teams, working with the defensive backs as well.
Bill was such a big effort. Showed not only when he was playing defense, but he seemed to volunteer for all the special teams as well. Passing that type of spirit on to some of these young defensive backs of the Cowboys.
Had a lot of Billy Malinchak in him.
38-yarder for Sebastian Janikowski. Low snap and a nice placement by Leckler, who's able to short hop it and get it down.
There's that bat again, Al.
Kick is good, yes.
Look, there's a bat in the boot.
It's a baby bat. Another look at the hit by Scott trying to team. That's one way to do it. Very good, Dan.
Good, Otto.
Well, we're going to get a run back for a change. Reggie Swinton from 5 yards deep brings it out to the 17. We have 13:24 remaining. In the fourth quarter in Mexico City, the Cowboys up by 15. Monday Night Football brought to you by Nissan. Driven. Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade. Is it in you? And Subway, showing the world how great a fresh-made sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh. Cowboys with White at quarterback, and slinging to the outside now is Denvis Manns. A new look at a new running back, first-year player out of New Mexico State. Well, 2 weeks from tonight, we go to Denver. Can't wait for the open on our 32nd season of Monday Night Football. The Giants, NFC champs, the Broncos, AFC contenders, and then September 9th on ESPN, it's Miami against Tennessee to open up a very good schedule on ESPN.
How's that game going to be if we have the substitute refs, though, Al?
Well, we may have the substitute refs by this weekend. Again, we've heard nothing in terms of what's happening with the flag thrown, with the meeting going on as we speak in Dallas.
I think the interesting thing, the concern of the players for safety. Will the replacement refs blow the whistle at the proper time? Will they call the game as they're so used to? These players develop a rapport with a lot of these officials over the years, especially the veterans who are looking for a little bit of protection at times.
Yeah, I read an interesting article wondering if some of the substitute refs will be familiar with the quirks of the individual players.
That's a serious concern on the part of a lot of the players. The call here was offside against the Raiders. You know, there are two things that could happen if the referees and the officials, I keep saying referees, but it's the entire officialdom of the entire unit. They could either walk out or the league could lock them out. But remember, if they decide to walk out, they run, not that this would happen, but you do run the same risk that the baseball umpires ran, and a lot of them, of course, have lived to rue the day when they walked out.
Yeah, you watched that HBO story on Eric Gregg, and I'll tell you, that would give you a pause about leaving your job.
Yeah,
air traffic Reagan, there's always a precedent. You got to watch yourself.
If they walk out, the league can fire them permanently.
And this is a pretty good job for these officials. They do a great job. They work hard at it. And I am very confident that something will happen before the deadline on Wednesday.
Otherwise, they're going to have clinics on Wednesday. And there they go to work on Thursday. And in the meantime, coming in was Darren Mickle and Derek Gibson together for the sack.
That was a clinic.
Number 1 draft pick for the Raiders, number 43. Gibson, he's going to enjoy this type of action, being able to blitz the quarterback with the help of Darren Mickle. Gibson's a big guy. He was picked in the first round because the Raiders felt that that was a position of need in their secondary. Anybody who saw the AFC Championship game against the Ravens and saw Shannon Sharpe go right down the middle of the field knows that the Raiders need help at safety.
96 yards. Third down and 21 from the 21. Having to get to the 42. Right. Even get back to the 20, but now he escapes, looking like Carter, and then throws incomplete up at the 40-yard line.
That's a heck of a move and great escapability by Anthony Wright, as Darren Mickle cannot believe that he didn't bring this fella down. 6'1", about 200 pounds is Wright, but very athletic. Watch this move right here as he uses strength and balance to pull away from Mickle.
Well,
eyes down the field, picks out a receiver who on the sideline.
Well, they were all looking for Mr. Wright there, but nobody found him.
Mike Gennord to kick to David Dunn.
You know, it's interesting you're talking about that play to Shannon Sharpe, Dano. It's the last 2 years, one of the big season-ending big pass plays. Isaac Bruce against the Titans, and last year, the Ravens versus the Raiders, Anthony Dorsett was involved in the play, wasn't he?
Well, he took bad angles on both those plays. Both resulted in touchdowns. And in the Raven, it was especially the Raven game, rather, Raider defense had the Baltimore backed up deep in their own end. 96 yards. What a turnaround.
Nor's kick, pulled in 33 by Dunn. And Dunn loses the ball. That's a 20-yard fumble, and it winds up in the arms of the kicker, Micah Noor. It was Lim Scott, number 21, and there again, who just made a big defensive play, got the sack, and now he's hurt.
Well, he hurt his shoulder last week against New Orleans, and I don't know if all that celebration or this big hit has further. Oh, that's the hit right there. So I talk about selling out. He knows he's got a bad shoulder. He laid the wood to David Dunn. Noor gets the recovery, and Scott's on the sidelines with the doctors.
Dallas ball. Indy Racing League season. You will see Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. The Delphi Automotive Indy 300. Buddy Lazier, Sam Hornish Jr. vying for the IRL title this season in action Sunday. From the 31-yard line on first down, look out as Tony Taylor can't get out of the backfield.
Take a look at that big hit real time. David Dunn had a real nice return going for the Raiders. And then out of the right of the screen, watch Lynn Scott. And the perfect thing about that hit is that he had his head in front on the ball. Unfortunately, he injured his shoulder, but that's a textbook tackle.
Well, it's a graphic depiction. And last game we had Eric Brown getting fined $25,000 for going helmet to helmet. You can see vividly there that you can still clock somebody and stay down low and do it the right way.
Second down and 12 from the 29. Right. To his right. Trying to get the first down, out of bounds at the 41.
Tackled by Dave Campo.
Well, Campo's going to start Quincy Carter, and here's Campo talking to Wright, face to face on the sideline. Carter, if he starts on opening day, when's the last time a guy drafted that low started? Well, you have to go back to 82. Mike Pagel picked in the 4th round, the 84th guy in the draft, and as you can see, as a Baltimore Colt in 82, his record as a starter, 8 losses and a tie, no wins.
And speaking from first experience, I took over in the 5th game of my rookie year and led the Chargers to a 2-11-1 season. Not easy.
And then there was Troy Aikman as Denvis Manns gets stopped in the backfield. There was Troy Aikman, of course, who started as a rookie in '89, and his mark as a starter, 0-11.
Well, they showed Pago in '82 at Baltimore, and wasn't Elway in '83 to go to Baltimore, but he refused and ended up in Denver, right?
There's Emmitt and his numbers last year, and as you recall, Elway was drafted by Baltimore and forced to trade to Denver. Meanwhile, Emmitt Smith will be a lifelong Cowboy in all likelihood. We did talk to him about it last night, and he told us a pretty interesting little story too. 2nd and 14 from the 38. Whistles before the snap. Johnny Harris was jumping. It's a full start against Dallas.
False start. 72 offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty remains second down.
Look on Campo's face, but we talked to Emmitt last night asking him about the importance of playing out his entire career as a Cowboy, and much as he would, though, he said he went to Jerry Jones and he said, hey, look, he said, if I'm the problem, if you can get better by trading me, go ahead. And Jerry said, thank you very much, but you're not going anywhere, pal.
I think that might have that thought might have caused Jerry to go on that diet.
Yes.
Then Dan said, Dan asked Emmitt if he would possibly agree to an incentive-laden contract. And Emmitt
well, he shouldn't.
2nd and 19 as Tony Taylor picks up a yard or so.
Well, Emmitt is going to be chasing this man, Walter Payton, and my money is on Emmitt because of his durability and the way he has been able to perform the last couple of years. But Walter, all-time great one. Classmate of mine in the Hall of Fame class of 1993. Here's Emmitt. He showed some good moves tonight, didn't he?
He is tough. Well, they talk about, heart and grit and determination. And remember that late season game with a dislocated shoulder against the Giants, 3rd and 18. And into traffic is James Whalen, the tight end, to pick up the first down on 3rd and long.
Well, Anthony Wright is having a pretty good evening, rather. He's anticipating receivers a lot better than he did last year. There's Whalen, 82. This ball is well on its way. Dropped into the dead zone of the Raider zone defense there. Heck of a throw by Anthony Wright, and he's showing that maybe the Cowboys have a solid 1 and 2.
24 yards on a 3rd down and 18 play.
Al, weren't you privy to one of Emmitt's big injury scares that night in the Monday Night Football game when he landed on his neck? Right?
The opener in, I think it was 96 in Chicago. Very scary. 21-6, Vaqueros. Palacio Nacional. Great Plaza, the federal government here in Mexico City. We will be moving to the Rockies in 2 weeks. Denver hosting the New York Giants as our 32nd season of Monday Night Football commences. At 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and of course in the Mountain Time Zone, 7 o'clock, Deno.
What do we hear about Jason Sehorn? Is he going to play?
Well, I mentioned before he had his knee flushed, and they expect him to be ready for the opener. They were going to do some surgery or a procedure on him last night. He developed an infection. They had to wait until today as Tony Taylor is the ball carrier there, but according to what I'm being told, we expect to see him on opening night. Melissa?
Al, a couple of injury updates on the Cowboys. Lynn Scott suffered a bruised right shoulder. He will not return. And rookie Marcus Steele has a concussion. He's not coming back either.
Okay, and a look at Scott.
Scott's got to feel great, man. A good day's work done.
There's Steele, the other aforementioned Cowboy.
This is the last night for some of these guys to play football, at least for this year. Cuts coming up tomorrow.
Al, what did we hear about the Raiders? When were they going to make their cuts? Flying back.
Yeah, flying back tonight, yeah, on the plane.
What if they got that DB Cooper door?
It's tough business. Coach Gruden wants to see you. Bring your peanuts.
Leave here with a party of 127 and landed with 116.
There's a parachute.
3rd DB Cooper door. 3rd and 7. Right, throwing off his back foot and out of bounds. Oh, Big Dan.
It's never easy meeting the Turk, but meeting the Turk at 35,000 feet, that's going to be rough.
Hey, who cuts Matt Turk if he gets whacked?
It's a good point.
Just a theological question.
We're seeing history tonight, fellas. I hate to bring you back to the football game, but the Cowboys game here.
That's right. They've lost 18 of 19. When did men become gods, Dennis? 18, well, gods become men, I guess, was the...
Well, they go out to one of those pyramids and it happens.
That's right. Late at night. Norris kick, fair caught here.
I like to go to the Pyramid of the Sun at night and the Pyramid of the Moon during the day, but I'm quirky that way.
Why do you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway? Flag.
You know what Campo's first job out of college was? Folk singer. I love that image.
Really?
Yeah. If I had a hammer for a fullback.
Holding during the kick. Receiving team. Number 38. Half the distance. Automatic first down.
Corey Walker. 5:32 left. John Gruden, his first trip abroad. His team down by 15. Del Sabado. In the southern part of the city, as are we right now at Estadio Azteca. Look at what happens there on a typical Saturday. Arts, crafts, good food. Mexico. From the 7-yard line on first down, firing over the middle and complete to Jeremy Brigham. Let's go to Melissa.
Al, it is a dramatic life change for players to go from college to the NFL, especially financially. Entire preseason, I've been asking a couple of the top picks from both teams how they've spent their new money. We'll start with the Cowboys. Quincy Carter wants to make sure he looks good. He's buying suits for the season, and he'll take true trips after the season to Europe and Jamaica. I'll tell you more after this play.
All right, and this play is a little pass. Go ahead.
All right, with Tony Dixon, he got a Mercedes, and he used to get up to 30 free tickets in college, but you don't get those in the NFL, so he thinks a lot of money will be spent there. And Marcus Steele bought his fiance a diamond engagement ring. He gave his parents money, so his mom no longer has to work. And the rest of it, Al, he spent on his 10-month-old daughter, who he said has to have a different outfit every day.
Melissa Stark in the role of Maria Bartiromo tonight here in Mexico City. 2nd and 2 from the 28. Tuiasosopo up to the 50-yard line. And that is caught by Eric Metcalf.
How about Eric Metcalf? He's a strict receiver now for John Gruden, but Gruden wouldn't mind making him into a hybrid player. He still has the skills to make that catch way down the field. Got the quickness as a running back, and Gruden also thinks that, you know, if he weren't kicking off at this altitude, he'd be bringing back kicks tonight.
I think Gruden wants to use him like the Tuna used to use Dave Megan.
Hybrid. Dad was a pretty good player too, Terry Metcalf. And that's a 23-yard strike hauled in by Andy Glover.
What about some more investment info?
All right, Melissa.
I know Dennis is dying for this. All right, as for the Raiders, Derek Gibson bought the ever-popular Cadillac SUV and plans to buy his mom a house in Florida. Marcus Tuiasosopo bought each of his parents a car, and he's given money to his church, but he hasn't gotten anything for himself yet.
And
DeLawrence Grant is looking for a house. He bought an SUV, and he fulfilled a rookie tradition by taking the entire defensive line out to dinner, which cost over $2,000.
You know, Al, when I signed my first Monday Night Football contract last year, actually I had to sell a car.
Is that why you drive? 2nd and 4 at the 21. That's a first down. Jabari Jackson makes the catch. Oh, man.
Good job.
What kind of car did you have to sell for this job?
An SUV.
You gonna take us out to dinner?
Come on. I'm always there for you.
That's
I
true.
always feed my guys.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Marcus into the end zone, rifles it in, tries to jam it between the defenders to Glover, but he can't hold on.
I'm not so sure this isn't a touchdown.
Something to do with that
Glover
part of that end zone.
Well, he had the ball in his hands. He took the big shot, but were his feet down when he had the ball? Great post route there. There's Dobby bobbled it. Good call.
Oh,
Sean Key, who was also involved in the play on Marcus Knight in the first half, comes over with the right shoulder and pops this one out.
Boy, he timed that beautifully.
Yeah, he did. Without the bobble, he might have made the catch. The bobble killed him.
Tuiasosopo tonight, 6 of 7 on the drive and 12 of 17 overall for 131 yards. And he has to take a timeout. Dan, just looking at him on the field, I mean, he looks like a guy in his 4th or 5th year in the NFL. He just has that presence about him.
He played a lot of college football at the University of Washington. And remember, he was exposed to the atmosphere of pro football with his dad when he used to tag along when Manu played for the Seahawks and the 49ers. Pretty amazing for Manu to be so supportive of Marcus when he was drafted by the Raiders and nothing but positive things to say about his former rivals.
2nd and 15. Slings it out, and that's dropped. In and out of the hands of Jabari Jackson.
Well, between Hoying and Marcus, Rodney Peete cannot be happy with what he's seen tonight unless Gruden decides to keep 4. He says he's kept 4 in the past, so maybe he'd like Rodney's leadership, but you saw some nice things out of both Hoying and Marcus, too.
Tough to do. You wonder with you look at the depth of the quarterbacks around the league. I mean, Rodney Peete will, I'm not saying probably be picked up by somebody else, but I'm sure other teams will look at a Rodney Peete if he's got 3rd and 15 from the 19-yard line. Tuiasosopo throws, and number 1 is Kenyon Rambo out of Ohio State, who made the first catch of the night. And we come to the 2-minute warning with 1:56 remaining here in Mexico in what they call the American Bowl. Cowboys on their way to a win. Every Tuesday morning, the annotated Dennis Miller is on that site, NFL.com, with all of the rest of the action as well. So log on. Denny, we hand it to you, my man. You would have been on what would be the physically unable to perform, or the pup list, yeah.
Or as they pronounce it here, the poop list.
It's on that too. 4th and 9 from the 13, and they will not convert. They will lose the ball, and Lewis Mackey will get a sack.
As Cowboys are celebrating like they just won the Super Bowl. And it's been a long time since they've won a preseason game, and with all the things that have gone on in the training camp, watch the pressure here. Big hit by Lewis Mackey, takes down Marcus Tuiasosopo.
Well, you know, the Cowboys have been international ambassadors. Jerry Jones loves to take his team abroad and show them off around the world. This is the 9th game they've played outside the confines of the United States. It will be their first win. They were 0-7 and 1 tie in London against Detroit in '93 on the ledger till now. Taylor stopped in the backfield again. Preseason wraps up next week. ESPN on Friday night. That's the Chiefs and the Rams. And so it's Dick Vermeil returning to St. Louis as head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs on ESPN Friday night at 8 Eastern time. Clint Sterner is the Dallas quarterback. So Quincy Carter picked up a little confidence tonight. Good job by Carter.
Talk about bouncing back from a disastrous start in New Orleans. He did it running and throwing tonight.
Yeah, good for him, because that was way beyond a bad performance last week. That was a disaster. That out pattern interception, haven't seen anything like that since O'Donnell hit Larry Brown in the flat that year in the Super Bowl.
Cowboy fans will like that memory, won't they?
Brown winning the MVP award. Then he went on to coach the Philadelphia 76ers, as you know.
You're golfing with Coach Brown.
I see Coach Brown a lot. What a great man he is, Larry Brown. Coach of the Sixers. Getting ready to go back to camp pretty soon. 3rd and 8 as this one winds down. Raiders go home. They have Green Bay coming into Oakland, and then Dallas actually has a game in 3 nights against Jacksonville at home. But the Cowboys have to be feeling a lot better about themselves after this performance. I mean, normally we all know the preseason means bupkis. When it's over, who cares? But at least in this particular circumstance, with a kid quarterback and people they're trying to fold in, they have to feel pretty good, Dan.
Absolutely. And Jerry Jones making the controversial decision